Ready for adventure? From vacation to staycation, and from the mountains to the beach. This is the Stacking Adventures podcast.
Crystal, it's Christmas Eve and Hanukkah Eve this year.
Oh, it is. Yay. Here we are.
Happy holidays to everybody. Happy holidays to you, Crystal.
Happy holidays, Joe.
What are you doing this holiday vacation while you're not recording with me? I know it's your favorite time of year, recording with me.
Oh, yeah, of the day. I am out somewhere getting my 20,000 steps for the day. I love to use my day offs to do nothing.
That's somebody calling for you. That's another fan calling for you, Crystal.
Yay. Remember you used to make fun, like, let me go turn my fan off. And it's like, oh, you got all your fans? They all live back there.
How do you turn them off? You give them a weird look. This
What do you?
Is a week. I am playing board games with my family, of course.
Fun.
Yes.
Fun.
And drinking eggnog. I got to tell you, I don't normally like eggnog, but in Cleveland, Ohio, where my sister and my mom live, there is this fantastic eggnog. I wish I would say their name out loud, even though they're not giving us any money, because this eggnog rocks, but I can't remember the name of it.
Oh.
But it is so good. And I put some rum chala in it.
Ooh.
Rum chala.
My friend brought over a bottle of Bailey's. They have a churro flavored Bailey's, and it's really good.
Even Bailey flavored Bailey's is fantastic.
Yeah, true. But
Churro flavored?
Churro
That's just
flavored.
not fair. That's not
it's a
fair.
holiday flavor. It's delicious.
Well, thank you for hanging out with us this year, Adventures. We've had so much fun making the show.
Thanks for giving us your ears.
And the gift of your time and your contributions. The contributions we've had already to this show, I think, have made it fantastic. So thanks to all of you. Today, we have done something that is great. You know, the last couple of weeks, Crystal, our adventures have heard us talk about our friend Karen Cordway's awesome show, Everyday Bucket List. And what we did with her this week was we're going to give you the gift of, you get to hear one.
Yep.
Because A, it's less work for us. B, we told you that it pairs nicely, as our friend Kylie Sheriff, the wine woman would say. It pairs nicely with our show. And she's not talking about adventuring on this one, Crystal. She is talking about ideas to better your brain and your well-being.
Wonderful.
I think this is definitely something that goes very well with travel. She's going to talk about travel, learning new skills can enhance your brain health. She's going to talk about New Year's resolution ideas and this concept called the dream chuckle. Can't wait for you to hear that. So, Crystal, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Yes,
Happy Hanukkah to all of you.
To all my listeners, to all our listeners.
To all Crystal's fans.
Yes.
Crystal's got to go turn off her fans now. All right. Hit play on this one, Crystal.
Happy holidays.
Boom.
Welcome to the Everyday Bucket List podcast. Get ideas, tips, and inspiration from locals, subject matter experts, and yours truly to pursue travel goals and other bucket list ideas, both big and small.
So I definitely believe in this now. What I hope for in the future is I follow one of my favorite Olympians from the 90s on Instagram. And I recently commented on one of their posts and they followed me back. So, hey, I'm just saying, you know what? I'd love to work out with this person and I'm just putting it out there. And I don't care who laughs at me.
Listening to the Everyday Bucket List podcast. Please fasten your seatbelts, and no matter where you're going or how you're getting there, put your phone on airplane mode because free time should never be interrupted. Hey everyone, we are so happy to be back. Once again, we're happy that you are back with us. It's me, Karen Cordway, your host and author of the Everyday Bucket List book.
Karen's husband, Rich, is back too. And I'm Little Robot. I'm the sometimes snarky fact checker that chimes in when needed. I'm also known to give unsolicited comments.
Hey everyone, we are back and we are super excited to bring you this episode today. We're wondering, would you like to improve in the new year? We always feel that pressure, right? January comes and we're supposed to be this new version of ourselves, or at least have these goals lined up to try to improve. But if you are slow to start anything or you're not sure what to focus on, I have 5 ideas to get your new year off to a great start. We're here to help you with this episode. We've come up with a general list of ideas you can use as sort of a template for outlining what you would like to accomplish this year, and starting new goals, to me, should be fun and easy. Otherwise, you do not stick with them, right? Most people give up by the end of January or early February. I believe it's like 1% of people really keep New Year's resolutions. So I say pick very carefully and make it something that is easy to incorporate into your everyday life, because that's what our show is all about, right? Enjoying everyday life. And I rounded up some bucket list ideas, and some of them are backed with research. And one very interesting idea, I saw this on social media. There is a doctor by the name of Robert Love, and he explains ways to grow new brain cells. And one of the ways, I wanted to mention this right away, was through travel. When you're seeing new things, you're out in the world, you're having new challenges, you're experiencing cultures and food and people, that is really good for growing your brain cells. Who knew? I never heard that before. And I thought that was such an exciting thing to share, because travel is big on people's bucket lists. And I explain in the Everyday Bucket List book, I explain on many of these podcasts that you have to find a way to fit it in. If you work a 9 to 5 and you have to wait for your vacation, then that's what you do. You just have to plan it out, right? I was reading an article because I follow a lot of comedians. I happened to stumble upon something about Bill Hader. He is in that series Barry. He's been on SNL. He's a popular comedian. And he realized that he hadn't gone on vacation in 10 years. And whenever we think of celebrities, we always think they're jet setting away and they go to these fancy places. And, a lot of times when they're on those locations, they are working. We don't even know if they really go off on their own and explore. They probably don't even have time. So it's really interesting that sometimes people have the resources, but they don't necessarily plan. Or sometimes for whatever reason, it just falls off the radar. And here goes a decade of your life where you haven't planned anything. So whether it's a day trip, a weekend getaway, a week's vacation, or maybe you're able to go for longer, good for you, try to plot out some travel. My husband and I just sat down. We do a whole year, but we outline it. We don't pin down every little date. We just come up with our ideas, and then we pick the month that we think we're able to accomplish that. And we're not people who are location independent, so we have to work around schedules and jobs and try to coordinate to make things happen. So I just wanted to say, if you do travel, obviously you're relaxing and everything, but you're also growing those new brain cells. So find a way to map it out, even if it's a rough outline, and pick how often you want to travel. Say, you know what? I want to go away at least once a year. I want to go away twice a year. Maybe you pick, is it something that you go to another state? Are you trying to go to a tropical island? Do you want to go to Europe? Is it somewhere far? So have that in mind so you can plot it out on your calendar. So moving on, this doctor also mentioned how learning new things produces new brain cells. And I'm not saying you signed up today to say, oh, how do I make more brain cells? But anything that has an added bonus, I'm like, cool, because I like learning new things anyway. But when somebody says, hey, it keeps growing your brain cells, anything to feel like you're keeping your mind sharp as you get older, and it always helps. But anyway, it could be something like coding, gardening, woodworking, photography, taking a guitar lesson. There's so many things you can do. I noticed Masterclass is out there again, and I see Martha Stewart on there. She explains how she started her business at 50, which I never knew, and she's such a powerhouse. So look into things like that you can learn.
Get an accountability partner. There was a study in the US that found you have a 65% chance of completing a goal if you tell someone else you're committing to it. And if you have specific check-ins with a partner, your chance of success increases to 95%.
There's something really to be said for having someone to do things with, because you're more likely to stick with what you're doing. And I just wanted to mention, I am proud of myself because I didn't realize that I was part of the 1% of people who actually stick to their New Year's resolution.
Insert eye roll. You just picked an easy one. Bah.
Stop being a hater, little robot. You're just mad that you didn't get to meet R2-D2 yet.
I've talked about this multiple times on episodes. I can't reinforce it enough. I love to learn languages and culture and everything like that. So I chose Italian and I stuck with it all year. I was on the Duolingo app. I tried to do it as much as I could. They really try to encourage you to do it daily and they keep track of like how many days you've been learning. But my streak broke several times. It's just things happen. My daughter graduated from college. I just couldn't do it every day. And that's okay. You don't have to. But if you're into gaming or you like to feel that sense of accomplishment or that hit of dopamine because you're like, hey, you're so great. You're really doing this. Consider trying it. I love it. I was able to stick with it. I also mentioned another tool, LingoPie, that I have used as well because that is completely different where it's a video. You're watching shows really and you see subtitles and you could stop along the way and there's a lot of context. There's visuals, obviously, and you're seeing what's going on in the story. So you can learn that way as well. And I have information in the show notes, or you can check the link in the description if that interests you at all. And I must say, whenever I meet someone and I know that they know another language or like 3 languages, I'm so impressed and jealous. I'm like, I want to be that person. And I just have a quick story. Recently, I had to go to a doctor's appointment and there was somebody who showed up and you could tell that they may have understood English, but they didn't seem to know really one word of English. And the woman behind the desk didn't know any Spanish. And my heart just broke for this person. It's just so hard. I studied in Spain and I know what it feels like when you don't have a command of a language. And ironically, even though I've been practicing Italian, it's so similar to Spanish. And I studied Spanish for so many years. I just had the courage to help out. And I spoke to the man and I just made sure that he was understanding what he had to do. And I helped him clarify some things because he showed up to an appointment on the wrong day. And it felt really good. I felt really confident. And, studying Italian indirectly rebooted my Spanish and the bravery part. So it's a lot of fun. It's something you can use in everyday life. It's something you can use when you travel. And once again, you're learning something new. So who doesn't want to be sharp as they age? You can enjoy your life for longer and remember and understand things and be adaptable. So that is another option. Rich, do you have something new that you're going to try this year, whether it's for fun or you're into growing your brain cells too? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking I want to try Duolingo. I've known people that have done it and have learned a language using it, and I'm just so interested because even though I took Spanish in high school, I really want to speak it fluently. So that's definitely something I want to try this year.
I think you're just copying me, but I'll let you slide. I'm going to continue my goal of learning a language because I know it's not something that happens overnight. And I want to switch it up a little bit. I want it to be a little more impactful for me. So I think I'm going to take the step and maybe take an online class if that's something that's offered. I feel like I'm still too new to have a tutor. I don't know if I'd really be able to converse unless I really push myself. So I think the next best step for me is a class for more of the basics and speaking and listening, and then maybe a tutor. But there's also people on social media. I noticed this one girl, I like her language videos because she'll map out conversations and she'll say she'll read in one color and you read in the other color, and she'll have the translation underneath. So it's like a telephone call or you're making plans. So she'll map out a whole back and forth. So it's like you're practicing. And I think that's a interesting step as well. I would like somebody to correct how I speak, though, so you know that you're actually pronouncing the words the right way. So, anyway,
Yeah, I know you've said great things about it.
now this third one is actually one of my favorites that I'm going to mention today. I also saw this on social media and I never heard it put this way before. This woman said that everyone should aim for a dream chuckle. She heard it at a conference. I Googled it. I didn't see anybody's name associated with it, but I'm sure it's part of someone's marketing or whatever it is, if they're a life coach or whatever. So I wish I could give credit to the person, but there hasn't been a name that has been associated with that. But anyway, a dream chuckle is that your dream is so big that it makes people laugh. And in the past, if I've ever shared something with someone and if they laughed, I would normally like recoil. I would feel stupid. I'm like, why did I tell this person this? And, they're saying aiming for that is like a good thing. And when you think of these people who are so big, And, when they have shared what their dreams were, most people did think they were crazy or they probably were laughed at. And that's something to think about. Do you have a dream chuckle? I really would love to give some jokes to a comedian, and I would be happy if somebody laughed, right? Because if these are jokes, you want somebody to laugh. But that I think would be amazing. I don't see myself as a stand-up comic. I don't think I have the guts to just try it just for fun or anything like that. So I'm like, hey, I have some ideas. I would love to just give this to someone. And once again, Martha Stewart was 50 years old when she started out. And then there's this woman on TikTok who was just saying, 4 years ago, I was a regular person. And now I'm famous. I believe she's in her 90s. Her name is Grandma Droniak. And she has these TikTok videos. And she talked about how she always wanted to be famous. And people would always shut her ideas down. I don't even know if she finished high school, but she always had it in her heart to be famous. She's a senior who talks like a 20-year-old. So everything that comes out of her mouth is so funny. She talks about her boyfriends. And when she talks about the idea of becoming famous, she goes, those people who said I would never do it, those people are already passed away. So she says, they lay while I slay. She is hilarious. And I just think that is such an inspirational thing. She has 12 million followers now. So you never know, right? It can't hurt to try. If it doesn't work, who cares? You're just in the same space that you were before. Okay, so I also want to get your take. What do you think? Do you have any ideas for the dream chuckle?
Yeah, so recently in my professional life, there's someone who I've always wanted to meet. I just really respect their work. And for the last few years, I've kind of been putting it out there that, yeah, I'd like to have coffee with this person. And it would cause people to actually laugh. And lo and behold, a few months ago, this person reached out to me via email because they had heard of some of the work I was doing. And we ended up being able to meet. So I definitely believe in this now. What I hope for in the future is I follow one of my favorite Olympians from the 90s on Instagram, and I recently commented on one of their posts and they followed me back. So, hey, I'm just saying, you know what? I'd love to work out with this person, and I'm just putting it out there. And I don't care who laughs at me.
See, I like to hear things like this. So I don't, unless something is really just super crazy, I don't know. I don't really laugh at people's dreams, but I could get how some things can be a chuckle. I will say one time, for whatever reason, I had Oprah on my vision board. She's probably been on everybody's vision boards. And, I never thought I would end up being quoted in her magazine. So you just never know. Maybe sometimes you don't even know how to communicate what it is. Maybe you have that image that you do stick on a vision board or you manifest something. And obviously, it's better to verbalize exactly what it would be. I think it's good to just practice. It's like a muscle and just practice saying, crazy ideas. And like I said, you could pick one for the year. Maybe you do a monthly one, and it can't hurt just to say these things out loud. I guess there is something to be said for manifesting. I was listening to Sebastian Maniscalco's podcast, and he's like, oh, do you think just because you write something down, it's going to happen? It was kind of funny because I definitely have a side to me like that could be a little cynical, but obviously you have to be thinking about it. You have to put action towards these things. And you just never know when you mention it, you put it out there, you never know what could happen. So think about, what is your dream chuckle? Whether you come up with one for the year or one per month that you're like, you know what? I'm going to pitch this idea. I'm going to try to get in a magazine, or I'm going to try to write for some big publication that I've always wanted to write for, or you name it. Maybe you just want to meet a celebrity or something silly. Who cares? Think about, what is your dream chuckle. Now, for number 4, if you want some low-hanging fruit, I'm thinking of the acronym in my Everyday Bucket List book. It's called FILL. I want you to fill your bucket very easily so that you have exciting things to do in the new year or just on a regular basis. So FILL stands for free, interesting, low cost, and local. We take for granted sometimes that there are free things to do, but we don't necessarily look into it. When we think of bucket lists, sometimes we think, oh, that's going to be so pricey. So we immediately rule it out. And sometimes things are actually much more affordable than you think. My husband and I are planning a trip to Las Vegas. We're going to see a concert. And when I looked into free things to do in Las Vegas, I was actually pretty surprised. I'm like, wow, there are these really cool things to do. And one of them is the Bellagio Conservatory, where they have all these beautiful plants. And at night, there's lights. It just sounds like a really interesting thing to do. And that's another thing where whenever you travel, you think you constantly have to shell out the big bucks. But really, if you just plot out your splurge and then kind of pace the rest of your spending on things that aren't as important for this trip, then you can really make it work. And, you crunch your numbers and hopefully you can have something to do. But free doesn't mean you have to travel. There's things to do in your area that sometimes slip off the radar. So, maybe you put that on your calendar to look for free things to do or get notifications or follow Facebook pages or, people on social, Instagram, TikTok, where you could get notified if something is coming up. And obviously interesting, you don't want to show up to something boring, right? Unless you're really just looking to come out of your comfort zone, try something new. Definitely search for interesting things to do. Low cost local. As I mentioned, there are things that don't even necessarily have to cost a lot of money. There are cranberry bogs in New England. And I thought, wow, it must be in the X amount of range, or I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking in my head. And I think it's only like $20 a person. And I'm like, why haven't I done that yet? It's been on my bucket list for a while and I didn't do it this fall, but it's just something to keep in mind. Always look into the price because things could be a lot cheaper than you think, or sometimes you could go on a day where something is free. There are many museums that always have a free day, a reduced price. There are certain museums that are always free. I talk about Boston a great deal because that's one of my favorite cities and it's close by to us. And we always look into free things to do. I love the North End. I go there a great deal, but we also try to find different free things. And there are a lot of free museums there. And just to let you know, I put a lot of my local adventures, anything that I do regularly, or just to let you know what I'm up to, I post that on TikTok at everyday_bucket_list. So if you really do like Boston, I go there a great deal. And Rich, do you have anything that you can think of? Talking about the fill method, so free, interesting, low cost, local. Did you ever find something that you didn't know about?
Yeah, we found an observation deck in the seaport of Boston, and it was just awesome because it was just this distinct building that you enter. There's a security guard, and we said, "Hey, is there a free observation deck?" And he's like, "Yeah." So it was just so simple to just check in on the ground floor and then take a elevator to the top and then just get some really cool pictures and see some sights of Boston that we had never seen before.
Right. And any observation deck that I have gone to, I've always had to pay. So it wasn't even in my head to think that something like that could be free. And that was a great experience. So try to look into that, whether it's in your local area, a neighboring town, a neighboring state, or if you are traveling, look into plotting out when there could be a time where you get to do a free activity. And as I mentioned, local doesn't have to be far away. That's how you make it easy. You have a lot of low hanging fruit. You could start the new year with like, hey, I did these 5 things, right? Because they're all in your backyard and it's easy to knock out. You're wondering why you haven't done it sooner. Look into doing something like that. And the person, Robert Love, actually mentioned that research applies to just doing something in a different neighborhood or a different state when it comes to growing brain cells. So we don't even have to try that hard, right? Let's make it easy. Now, another idea I want you to try, and this might sound a little silly, but if you're looking to be happier or improve your well being, there's research that shows that listening to birds chirp, you only have to listen for like a second to get the benefit of having that improve your day. And it can improve your well being up to 8 hours just by hearing some birds chirp. And they don't have to even be like in real time. It could be something that's recorded. It could be an app. It can be a video. As long as you hear some birds chirping, it's supposed to give you some sort of boost where it improves your overall well being. How cool is that? Who would know, right? Just have a bird in your pocket. Go on an app or pop on a video. I've listened to so many really cool instrumental videos when I work or if I'm just at a coffee shop, and maybe incorporating one that has the sound of birds in the background would be awesome. But I'm thinking in terms of bucket list, if you are out in nature, if you are hiking, if you're somewhere where you can hear birds. I remember when I went to Puerto Rico and we would just hear these beautiful birds chirping every morning. And I was like, wow, it must be really nice to wake up to this every day. And, so whether it's in your travels or there's somewhere else in nature that you can experience this, I say incorporate it into your life. So whether it's some big bucket list idea or it's just a walk in a different neighborhood or you're going to a walkable city, if it's on your radar, that would be a major bonus. And I was talking to one of my friends who lives in Colombia, and she said there's an area there that people go just to see the birds. And it sounded really interesting. I'm hoping to have her on the show down the road.
If you wanted to specifically focus on birdwatching destinations, Cape May, New Jersey has songbirds in the spring and fall. There's a place in Australia called Roebuck Bay. There's the New Guinea Highlands. There's a national park in Ghana where there's a rainforest. And there are places all over the world that you can find birdwatching destinations.
So I hope that these ideas help you, just give you a little boost. I didn't want to overwhelm you with so many ideas. We're all kind of tired, at least I am, coming off of the holiday week. You have the holidays, then you have the new year. And I just like to slowly get going with things. And I hope this is helpful to you.
Time for some tips.
Now we're moving on to the tip series. I started this series a while back and my editorial calendar got a little tricky. So I wanted to make sure we follow through with this, and I'll have a link to the other tips. So if you want to follow all the tips in this tip series, you can go back to that specific episode, or you can subscribe so you make sure you're always following along so you don't miss any tips in the tip series. So anyway, I actually have a template. It's very simple. If you want to map out your year and you like that whole cursive drawing aesthetic, I made this whole template for 12 months, and you can print it out and you could just map out a few ideas. You could put your little anthem word, what inspires you, just to get going in that direction. It's very laid back. It's not so intense. And I actually could be very type A about certain things and when I nail down details. But when I start, I like to be general. I like to just throw a few ideas. Okay, it's January. What could I do? Could I do a day trip? Can I go to a concert, see a comedian? I just like to have some things in motion. So look into my 12-month planner on buymeacoffee.com/EDBL. It's very inexpensive. I have it for $3 for my listeners. And if you go there, you could get the whole template. I even have a blank one. So if you decide to start later in the year, they are all marked with each month, but as I mentioned, there's a blank one. So if you need an additional page, or if you don't want to be tied to each month, whatever, I leave that option. But in order to try to make sure it's regular, and as I mentioned, it doesn't have to be something so big. It could just be your language goal, or meeting with a language group, or taking a little coding class one day, or trying pickleball, whatever it may be, ping pong. And just jotting that down, and then you have it and you can be on your way and plan out your year and feel motivated. I like to write things down. So check that out, buymeacoffee.com/EDBL. It's my 12-month planner. And thank you so much for showing up. I wish everybody a really excellent new year. And always remember to have a good one. We have arrived at our destination. You can unfasten your seatbelts, and we'll see you next time for another episode of the Everyday Bucket List podcast. Bye.